Hello, you guys. If you noticed, the background is a little different on this video. The other videos that I posted, those were actually all recorded in Idaho at my mom and dad's house, and this is now my house. I'm back in Colorado, so that's why the background is different. I'm wearing my Westridge, what's it called, sweatshirt. I almost called it a sweatsuit. I can't even talk. I didn't almost call it a sweatshirt. I almost called it a sweatsuit. So, there you go. That's where my mind is at today. Before we get into our super fun math lesson, we need to do some counting to start off our lesson correctly. And we're going to do one way today. The last time was like 4 ways. I don't know. We're just going to do one way today. We're going to count by tens, and the reason we're going to count by tens is because it's part of our lesson today. So, on your mark, get set, go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Great job. All those numbers that you just said have everything to do with our math lesson today. Our lesson today is about rounding numbers to the nearest 10. Tens are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. I made this little chart for you. It says rounding, and then it's got all the numbers that you might need, and then I drew this hill, okay? I want you right now, if you have paper in front of you, you need to draw this hill. If you don't have paper in front of you, I need you to go pause this video, and I need you to get some paper and something to write with, because you're going to need to draw this hill probably like 7 times today, okay? So, hopefully you guys have either drawn it or are unpausing this video right now so that you have your hill, okay? I'm not gonna draw a car on here, but that's what I want you guys to think of. Now, if a car stops right where this 0 is it gonna keep going up the hill, or do you think it's gonna go down the hill? We all know it's gonna go down the hill. So the car would go down the hill if the last number was a 4, a 3, a 2, a 1, or a 0, okay? What I mean by that is we're going to write, if I could turn the page maybe, with your pen, whatever you have to write with, I want you to think about the number 22. This is the car that's going up the hill, okay? So I'm going to draw my hill. You don't have to write the numbers on it, but I want you to know that 5 is in the middle, 0 is on the left, and 10 is on the right, okay? We're talking about the number 22. We need to look at the last number, the last digit. Remember, 22 is a 2-digit number because it has 2 spaces that make up one number. So for this lesson, we're going to pay attention to the last digit, okay? This last digit right here is a 2. On my hill, that's about here, okay? If my car is going up the hill and it stops at the 2, is it going to round back down to 20? Or is it going to round up to 30? This spot on the hill, what do you think? Is it going to roll back down, or is it going to roll up the hill? I think it's going to roll back down, which means if I asked you to round this number, round 22, to the nearest 10, the nearest 10 is 20. It's not 30. Here's another way you can prove that. 20 is less than 22, right? How much less? 20 and 22. 2. That's a lot of 2's that I just said. Let me explain what I'm thinking. 22 has 2 extra numbers than 20. Okay, now let's look at 30 and 22. I know that 30 is greater than 22. That doesn't explain any of this hill stuff though. But I also, if I took away 22 from 30, I get 8, okay? This was only a 2-number difference, and this was an 8-number difference. Isn't 22 closer to 20 than it is to 30? I hope this makes sense. We're gonna try a couple more numbers, okay? What you need to know before we move on is that if this second digit is a 5, a 6, a 7, an 8, or a 9, it will always round up, okay? Here's the notes that I want you to write. And I'm gonna try really hard to use this as a whiteboard. If the second digit is a 5, a 6, a 7, an 8, or a 9, okay, round up. If the second digit, hope you guys can see this, not really, hang on. If the second digit is a 0, a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4, what do you think you're gonna do? Round down. Not the best handwriting, but it's okay. These are the notes that I need you to memorize. You can write them down if you want. You can pause this video and copy them down. This is basically what you need to know, and you'll be able to round to the nearest 10. If you memorize all of this, you will never struggle with rounding to the nearest 10. So write this down, or take a picture of it, or write it down in your brain, however you want to do it. Just memorize this information, and then we're gonna move on to a couple more numbers, okay? I'm gonna switch colors. Here's my hill. I'm just putting in the 0, the 5, and the 10 because that helps me see where these numbers are gonna go, okay? First, we already did 22. Now, we need to think about the number 47. 47, if we were to think about the tens, is between 40 and 50. Okay, we need to round 47 to the nearest 10. Oops, sorry. Do we think that a 7, this second digit, would round up to 50 or down to 40? Well, a 7 on my hill is about right here. Somewhere in there. Oh my gosh, you can't see. So sorry, you guys. This is much smaller than the whiteboards I usually use. 47. The 7 is about right here. If your car started over here and went up, stopped at the 7, do you think it's going to roll back down the hill, or is it going to keep going this way? Remember, this over here would be our 40, and this is our 50. What do you think? Does 47 round down to 40 or round up to 50? Remember this 7, so that's our second digit. Go back to your notes. If the second digit is a 5, 6, 7. Wasn't this a 7? So you're going to need to round up. So 47 rounds up to 50. Okay. The reason that you guys need to know how to round to the nearest 10 is because sometimes in life, you don't need an exact number, okay? I have 28 students in my class. So if I were to bring you donuts, would it be better if I brought 20 donuts or 30 donuts? Let's try that. Everyone write the number 28. It's between 20 and 30. 8 on my number line, or on my hill, would be about here. If I only brought in 20 donuts, 8 of you would not get a donut. But if I brought in 30 donuts, then everyone would get a donut and there would be 2 extras. So 28, does it round down to 20 or does it round up to 30? Take a look at your notes. If the second digit is a 5, 6, 7, 8, you're going to round up. So 28 rounds up to 30, okay? I hope this makes sense. You're going to get to watch another video about rounding, and then there's also going to be a video for some clock review. It's not the kind of clock that, I don't know if you can see that, looks like this, 111. It doesn't look like that. It's the circle clock with the short hand and the long hand. You're going to do some review on that, and then I think you'll be done after you fill out your Google form. You got to do the Google form, okay? All right, kiddos. See you later.